we welcome to the stage ICS MENA's iconic entrepreneurs.
All right, good afternoon to whoever is here. Welcome to the ICS conference for today with an amazing panelists, four amazing people, four amazing entrepreneurs. We're going to be talking today about a lot of different things in relation to lessons of valuable businesses. How did we tap into a lot of opportunities and a lot of different challenges as business owners? In addition to the fact of sharing experiences throughout. So I'm going to be welcoming the amazing speakers with us today. Stevi Lowmass, who is the CEO and founder of the Camel Soap Factory. Maybe we can give her a clap. Mouna Abbassy, founder and CEO of IZIL Beauty. Zahra Abdalla, founder and creative director of Zahra's Kitchen. And the amazing Nader Amiri, founder and CEO of elGrocer, between all the women. Huh? You're going to enjoy it today. All right, so you are all entrepreneurs based in the UAE, and you have local businesses within Dubai. You've operated all this time within Dubai, and I'm sure Dubai has given you a lot of opportunities to start off with your business. But before we tap into that, I would like you to just introduce yourself quickly. When did you start your business? What is your business all about until we get to the discussion? Please go ahead.
Nader Amiri. I'm the founder and chief operating officer of elGrocer. elGrocer is a grocery delivery platform. Started in 2016 as a beta and 2017 rollouts. I come from an FMCG background and been in the UAE for more than 30 years. So wow, okay. Dubai is home.
Okay. And Zahra?
Hi, my name is Zahra Abdalla. I started my journey as a food blogger over 12 years ago. And over the years, I've been very active on a social platform. I've hosted a couple of TV shows on NBC One, NBC Three. I've published 2 cookbooks. And I'm very active on social media as a content creator. And recently, I've launched my frozen food range called Zahra's Kitchen. We were part of the incubator program with Spinneys. And in the last 4 months, so we're officially going to be a year old next month. And in the last 3 months, we've expanded our retail presence from 3 retailers, being Spinneys, Waitrose, and Kipson's, to now being in over 8 retailers. And also serving the Horeca segment. So we supply restaurants and hotels with our produce. So it's been a very exciting journey because I'm a risk analyst and I used to work in the ports industry before. And now I've entered into a very different space and it's very exciting.
I believe the 3 of them used to work together, even yourself, right?
Yeah,
yes, not Steve.
Nader,
Okay, fine.
yes.
Sorry, I'm getting confused. Who's working with me? All right, Stevie.
Hi, I'm Stevi Lowmass. Similarly to yourself, Zahra, I come from a very different background to what my company is. My company is called the Camel Soap Factory. And we were started exactly 10 years ago in 2013. I spotted a gap in the market for a product that was made in the UAE that would appeal to tourists and visitors to the region. And decided to start making handmade soaps made with camel milk, really following on the traditions of Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine. The company grew massively, and we'll be talking about challenges later, but in a nutshell, that's who we are.
Welcome on this panel. Mouna?
So my name is Mouna Abbassy. I'm Moroccan. I've been in the UAE for the past 17, 18 years. I'm the founder and the CEO of IZIL Beauty, which is a Moroccan beauty brand, clean, natural, and organic, that we created from scratch 10 years ago as well. So we grew drastically. At the beginning, we started with just few SKUs, and today we have over 70 SKUs. We manage the full life cycle, so from formula development, production, till the sales. So we have our own flagship store, and we do sell almost worldwide through our e-commerce platform.
Very nice. It seems that all of you has been, you've been in the country for such a long time. You've seen the changes. You've learned a lot, and we've seen a lot of different things happening even before and after COVID. So we all know that starting a business requires a lot of hard work. It requires a lot of money. It requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of new ideas, to be in the market all the time to see what is happening. Why Dubai? Why did you choose Dubai for elGrocer? And as when you first started, not
No,
now. We'll
absolutely.
get to this
Yes,
time.
yes. No, I think growing up in Dubai, it's kind of gets baked in the DNA. You know, the innovation, the ambition that Dubai had, like travel over the summer, come back, and there's like 3 new buildings, dozens of new streets, and the pace of change in Dubai was so fast, and it was great to see the whole city rise up. And I think subconsciously that got baked into my DNA, like, okay, need to do big things, need to do...
What made you come up with the idea in 2016, given that you come from FMCG background?
But that's exactly it. So
Okay.
coming from FMCG background was like, e-commerce still hadn't taken pace in FMCG. It was like something needs to, globally it was starting to pick up, saying, okay, we need to have it here in the Middle East. In the beginning, everyone was like, crazy, who will order online? People like to go to the store. But you have to see the trends before they start. And
Okay.
when you see it, okay, this trend is going to pick up in some time, start it now, because there is a learning process. There is a learning curve that needs to happen. There is a building blocks.
But in 2007, Jabbar Group had started the e-commerce fashion with
Absolutely.
Sukkar, with Souk.com, with all these big names,
Yeah.
right? They didn't go into FMCG,
Correct.
which is not the case. But I believe the same owners also have launched InstaShop, right?
Correct, yes.
And then they sold it afterwards. So were they a competition at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and okay, and you managed to.
No, absolutely. I think
to
they
do-
had
to
a
do it.
good head start, having the experience from other
Okay.
verticals and other industries, let's say. But we had the industry experience, the FMCG
Yes.
experience. So you knew it's a tough market when it comes to margins, operations. We were primarily self-funded and did crowdfunding. Zahra participated
Yeah.
also in one of the crowdfunding rounds. So it was more about doing it as a homegrown concept, you know, with friends, family, extended network sort of concept, and building the right setup so that when a strategic player comes and says, okay, now it's time for me to enter this market, we were well positioned for that when the acquisition by Etisalat happened.
Yeah, of course. And Zahra, tell us a bit, the whole bloggers fashion thing that came up in early 2009 with the launch of Facebook and launch of Instagram and everything else. What made you move to that? Is it because you felt that Dubai had actually attracted a lot of bloggers on board, or did you feel that you wanted to actually...
I'm an academic by background.
Okay.
I did not seek this space.
Okay.
It came to me.
It came to you, okay.
I love to cook, I love to feed, and it was an opportunity for me to, I set up a blog because it was a recipe index space. And then all of a sudden I realized it can be something bigger. I'm very lucky. I'm in a career or in a space that I actually love working in. And so I think that's why
Dubai?
I've been able, I'm a feeder.
Okay.
I'm a
and,
feeder.
And no, I'm saying in Dubai in general.
Why Dubai? Again, I didn't intentionally choose this. The opportunity came, and I'm just someone that takes advantage of any opportunity that comes my way, and then you start dreaming and building. And I think it's just the beginning.
Yeah. We'll get to your business more because you've expanded to a lot. Stevie, camels.
Camels.
It's something very big here, yeah? I'm not saying that to say anything else, but I'm saying it's one of the most, at the moment, still probably a bit vague as to how camels are perceived, how good their milk are, etc. And you've expanded it to a skincare product, environmentally skincare product. And why, again, Dubai? Although I think camels are very big in Saudi, more than the UAE. Why Dubai, and why did you start it here?
Dubai was, I'd been living here at that point for 10 years, and I spotted a gap in the marketplace, and at that stage, when I arrived here 20 years ago, I mean, those of us who've been here a long time used to take dates home, or pashminas from India,
Yes.
or toys made in China. But there was nothing that was uniquely the UAE or uniquely Dubai. And I really love living here, and I wanted to create a product that when people bought it, they could take back that little bit of Dubai and take the joy back home with them. And we know that's exactly what people feel when they use the product.
Okay.
So Dubai was a very natural home for the product. And I guess that, part of it is that we all want to leave something of ourselves behind when we move on.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is also to leave something that would become iconic in Dubai is really what I wanted to create.
That's very good. Mouna, you are Moroccan yourself, yeah? And I know that the culture here, they love also the Moroccan culture. And we as Arabs love to utilize a lot of products in relation to Morocco. Tell us a bit about IZIL, because you've expanded in Dubai and in Dubai Mall with a retail shop. Why did you choose Dubai for your brand? And who technically did you want to attract when you first started IZIL?
So actually, the idea came in Dubai because that was where I got the insights about what you just said about the Moroccan ingredients or the Moroccan beauty rituals. That's we used to take for granted as a Moroccan. I lived in Morocco for 22 years, so it's something which is part of our lives, but it was not elevated. It's something that you just live with. And actually, the idea built up when I came here in Dubai. And when I came to Dubai, and my background is FMCG as well, and beauty. So that's when, like my colleagues, and the beauty of being in Dubai as well is meeting different nationalities. So you got a lot of nationalities. And they were requesting me whenever I was going back home to bring with me some ingredients or some products from Morocco. And there was no Moroccan brand which was able to compete in this segment and compete with the international brands by elevating the Moroccan beauty heritage. So it came very naturally here in Dubai, and yeah.
We all know that the Middle East is a booming region now, and we all faced downturns during COVID, all right? And we all had to change strategies within our businesses, especially within retail. Okay, I'm from a marketing background. I had to take also decisions from that aspect. But tell us a bit, because I'm speaking here with some who's got a retail outlet and some who operates online. So I'm sure it's very different. So tell us a bit about the challenges that this industry has faced, especially your industry, and what did you learn out of this? What changes did you do during these challenges?
Of course, I think COVID changed the game. I mean, in our case, COVID was a big boost. It's perhaps drove the industry 3, 4, 5 years ahead. And it was a time where we were not ready for that kind of volume. So it was a bit of struggle in the first couple of months. Okay, you know what, this volume may not stay this high because there's lockdowns and all of that, but the industry has changed, so we need to evolve faster. We also had difficult times, like you mentioned, because big players started coming in.
Course, yeah.
And so, okay, what's the best way for us? The best way for us was still, you know, to do the right fundamentals so that when the right player comes, we are well positioned, you know, like I was mentioning in the beginning. So it was inspiring to see the way UAE was handling COVID, because saying, okay, there is a downturn, but it's not the end of the world. Saying, okay, let's keep our head straight, do what needs to be done, capture the opportunity, serve the customer, operate the business as it should be, and, you know, work towards.
What changes did you decide to make?
I think we had to scale up very fast. So we had to add a lot of people, and how to do it. We had to, you know, turn to our current investors and say, guys, there is an opportunity. We need to capture
so COVID
it now.
played to your favor,
Yeah.
basically, yes.
Yeah.
And now it's not the case, right?
Now it's, I mean, I can say up until last year, so we exited, right? So we sold to Etisalat.
Okay.
And, you know, being part of the Etisalat group obviously changed the game for us as well. So yes, the market has become much more competitive, but we are, funded and supported by a big group as well.
Of course, because what we've been seeing is with Zomato and with the changes that took place, it was a bit scary to see this elevation and then suddenly the crash. What kind of marketing aspects did you use in the opportunity time, in the crisis time, and in today's time? I'm interested to know.
Yeah, I think before COVID, it was a lot of test and learn. It was a lot about the industry is not well positioned yet. So how do you capture the right customer? The early innovators in the curve of innovation cycle curve. You look at who are the early adopters, who are the early innovators, trying to see what are their needs, how to tap into that. And I think what COVID changed is the masses started coming in. So it's a very different marketing approach.
Of course, yeah.
So in the beginning, it was really about, we did recipes and we worked with Zahra. So like, okay, people who are interested to cook and want that convenience were the people who wanted, groceries to be delivered. But now it's everybody. So the marketing approach changes. It has to be, goes from, more creative, innovative, targeted marketing to more mass marketing.
Exactly. Zahra, with your case, I'm sure during COVID and during the challenges, you've definitely adopted the expansion to cloud kitchen, to cooking and delivering to a lot of, homes and families and etc.
So I had a cloud kitchen that I launched before COVID.
Okay.
And it was terrible.
So what did you do during COVID?
So I did three things. My content creation for my social media platform was very active.
Okay.
Actually, that grew exponentially for me. My cloud kitchen struggled because we were based mostly salads and sandwiches. And during COVID, people wanted things that they could reheat, zap in the microwave to kill this imaginary, virus that was hovering over their food. And you can't do that to salads and sandwiches. So people weren't interested to order that food. But then the frozen food range was born. So it was after COVID had calmed down, I decided that the cloud kitchen concept is not the space that I'd like to work in. So we closed that segment and then focused on growing from selling our frozen food range on a cloud kitchen platform to being more in retail.
More in retail. And what kind of marketing techniques did you use beyond the fact of blogging? Did you use anything else in specific?
Listen, I've invested over 10 years in building a platform. People pay a lot of money to be on my space. I got it for free, so I maximize that space.
Good for you. That's very good. And Stevie, so tell us a bit, what challenges did you face? Because we were talking. Tell us a bit about, the hardship that passed through that time. What did you adopt as solutions to stay till today?
Yeah, it was really interesting time for us. So from 2013 till 2019, our business had expanded massively. We were aiming our products very, very firmly and squarely at the 20 million visitors to Dubai and everybody who lived here who wanted to take something home with them. And very early in 2020, we knew that it was trouble heading our way when the Chinese planes were stopped coming into Dubai. So we knew we had to take action immediately. We lost 95% of our revenue overnight. So it was pretty challenging, actually. What steps we took, there were a number of things that we did. I mean, we obviously had to rein in costs massively. Sadly let people go and really make sure that we controlled our costs. But the other thing that we saw is that this was clearly a bit of an opportunity to maybe look at other things. One of the things we realized is that we actually make pretty good products. So we moved into the contract manufacturing space and actually serve a number of smaller brands in the region, maybe 20 to 30 of them, that we actually make product for. And we have quite unique, sort of high quality, low MOQ that allows us really to meet the needs of a very different market. The other thing is that we looked at the product range and realized that one of the things that we were really strong in was our environmental credentials, and also the raw ingredients like IZIL, which is why I admire IZIL so much, is that you have the same ethos as we do, is you really want to avoid putting too much rubbish on your face and your body. So we decided to using and focusing on regional ingredients is to start developing products that perhaps fell out of the gifting tourist sphere and more into skincare. We still kind of bridge that gap a bit. Our cream products, for example, are sold at Burj Al Arab and do extremely well there. But we've also subsequently ranged a solid hair care range, which for a lot of people in this part of the world is very new. And that really is to try, for us to try and address the issue of plastics in the bathroom, but two, actually they're really great products. So it's kind of forced us to change our focus, and we always thought if we got through COVID and were able to expand, and then all the business came back, we'd be in a much better position.
Change sometimes is good.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is good.
Yeah. And for IZIL, when did you start your retail outlets in Dubai Mall? Which year?
So we had, from 2013-14, we had kiosks.
And retail got really affected during COVID.
So we had kiosks. Back in 2016, we opened kiosk in Dubai Mall.
Okay.
And we closed all the other kiosks, and we focused on one kiosk and e-commerce.
Okay.
So, but we upgraded to full-fledged flagship store in 2020.
Oh,
so
within the crisis.
Yes.
Okay.
So when there was the pandemic, we were in full construction on the store. But again, COVID for us was played on our favor. Because we were ready. So we were already in e-commerce since 2015. So we started in social, what I like to call social commerce, which was through WhatsApp back in 2014 and 15. So we were getting a lot of orders through WhatsApp and from all the different GCC regions, not only the UAE. And when we saw that there was this demand, we had our own e-commerce platform in 2015. So what happened in 2020, we were ready and more ready than even the international brands who didn't have their own e-commerce platforms. So while people or other companies were still looking for solution and building an e-commerce platform, we were already selling, so there was no competition online. So that's when we started paid media as well during that time, which was during COVID still cheap at the beginning.
Of course.
Now the prices.
Now everyone is making use
now
of it.
Now the prices went really high.
You've utilized a lot of celebrities and influencers also within
Yes.
your campaigns.
That we started actually back in 2018 because before 2018 it was misery. So
what made you take that line? Not influencers. Celebrity endorsement is expensive and it's
Yes.
also tiring. You know, I mean.
So okay. So from 2013 to 2018, we struggled a lot with the cash flow, which is in any company and startup, it goes through that. Because we've never used influencers and we knew that the products were amazing. There is a rich story behind the brand, but the media was very expensive for us, so we cannot compete with international brands.
Of course, yeah.
And for the influencers, we were very skeptical because of the small cash we had. So we were like, if we have to put that amount in one influencer, there is nothing back in the bank accounts. And then there is nothing so basically you put whatever you have for one post. And I take it as a sign from God that actually there was an influencer who came from Saudi, and she was actually a customer. And one day, one product started selling like a lot. And I was like, guys, what's happening? I mean, this is like 6 months of stock. What's happening? And we're talking about small base at that time.
Yeah.
So then I discovered that one lady. She didn't have a lot of followers. It was like about 30,000 followers on Instagram. She came to Dubai. She's from Saudi. She buys from us. And that day when she came, she decided to post.
On Snap?
On Snap. And that was like a sign for us that we should take the risk and put some money behind influencers, which we did. So
But of
I
course
remember
targeted.
the first...
Targeted influencers.
Yeah,
not just
targeted
anyone. Yeah,
influencers. So we
obviously.
went for one at the beginning, and we were sitting like this and
And
waiting
waiting.
for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So our own hope was to get the money back, because that was like a running money, operational money. So it went well. So whatever we took as benefit, we re-injected, and that same amount we started building until now we are having like a full influencer program on a monthly basis. And that's how actually the brand was able to was rebuilt actually.
To be lifted.
Yes, to be what it is today, because that gave us a push. We just needed someone to speak about the brand and the products, and some people to know about it.
Yeah, of course.
Later on, once people buy it, then they would recommend, or they will buy again.
Definitely did it right, I must say. You definitely did it right. I mean, not every single company or every single brand does it right with influencers or any format of celebrity endorsement. Let's talk a bit about the new opportunities that we have. This year is the year of sustainability in the UAE. We're getting to COP28. Everyone is talking about sustainability. Everyone is talking about a lot of things. We're seeing a lot of department stores going into sustainable homes, sustainable skincare, sustainable food, a lot of different things. Tell me a bit, is elGrocer going to be adopting anything in relation to sustainability? Is this in the pipeline? Do you think it's an opportunity?
Absolutely. I think it's a trend that's been in the making for years.
Sure.
It always, again, starts with early adopters, innovators that are starting to look for it. And initially, everyone says, okay, it's small, it's not something that is a major driver, but one day it's going to come there. It is definitely in the pipeline. Do we have something today? No. But it's definitely in the pipeline within this year to get into, more. For example, we started our own dark store. We do paper bags, not plastic bags.
Just like what Spinneys is doing now.
Exactly. And the goal is to also offer packaging-free solutions. There are other retailers offering it, and we need to move there fast. So it's definitely within this year to look at more sustainable packaging, as well as packaging-free options, building it within the product roadmap, technology, operations, and all of that. Sourcing products more from a local perspective, that's definitely there. So how to work with, a local...
What about education in that area? Because, I mean, it applies to all of you. Because I think hotels started adapting sustainable, changes within their entities maybe a year and a half ago. And still people are very confused as to what is this sustainable thing, right? So do we lack education? Do we need to actually have education about this? Tell me more about where do you see this going?
Absolutely. I think the masses are not there yet. I think the education is starting, and it started with the plastic bags costs money.
Yes.
And that's when people start, okay, it's hitting my pocket, must be something important. So if I need to pay something extra for it, I will think twice. So that whole trend started with, no plastic bags, or plastic bags start costing money. But it also will move towards zero plastic. I think 2024, 2025, there's a roadmap by Emirates. And already we're in touch with, for example, Abu Dhabi municipality or Dubai municipality to looking at some educational programs that they are deploying first to the companies that will eventually cascade to the customers as well.
I hope so. Zahra, you have a shelf, okay, with your food product, right?
Yeah.
Your food brand. Where do you see this going when we speak about sustainability? Is it only from a packaging perspective?
So I think it's very important to address the question, this whole statement of sustainability. It's a very loosely used word, and it's intended to greenwash a lot of things. But I think that in the end of the day, being sustainable, it's really about having a very holistic understanding of what it means and how it implies. Now, you can go and buy you can buy your groceries in a paper bag, but you could be picking up bananas that are coming from, thousands of miles away. So while you're getting a paper bag, you've just wasted a lot of carbon footprint just to get that banana. So for me, it's really important that when you want to be sustainable, be mindful about what that means. Now, we're in the beginning of the journey of being sustainable. Are we 100% sustainable? No. Are we working towards it? Yes. We are starting with the packaging. But as a brand, we are naturally a sustainable product because it's a frozen product. That means you have longer shelf life of ingredients. When it's fresh, you usually have food that can last between 3 to 7 days. I've prepared it, we've packaged it, and we've given it a 9-month shelf life. There's less food wastage. We produce in small quantities so that everything is consumed. And it is one of my top priorities to work towards being a sustainable brand, but a responsibly sustainable brand, not white.
Do you think
greenwash.
that the country itself is going to maybe us eventually to move towards that? Just like what they're doing with the supermarkets. Now you're forced to actually buy sustainable bags and utilize them, right?
I think we're on our way. I mean, when I first moved to Dubai nearly 19 years ago, I came from a culture where we were recycling. And we still don't have that as part of our day-to-day habits. You know, we don't put Tetra Paks in cans and plastic. So it's about more than the marketing gimmick of a paper bag. It's really about it being educated at schools and taken from a very grassroots level to a corporate level, from food waste to just so many different things. And I think that's the direction it should be going, this conversation.
And Stevi? You know why I'm asking you also? Because I was in Saudi 2 months ago, and they were talking about camel milk, okay, and moving towards that also, because I had Australians buying a lot of camel milk for Australia and vice versa. So tell me about, would we ever see something like that also from a sustainable perspective, from utilizing it in the skincare part? I mean, I've seen some, but I still don't understand what's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I classify us slightly differently to maybe IZIL in a sense that we're not your classic skincare brand. We've always just focused on developing product that utilized regional ingredients. Now, one of the reasons we wanted to utilize regional ingredients was to make sure that our supply chain was as local as possible. One of the things I've always been really proud of in the factory is that we have an amazing environmental track record.
This is why I'm asking, because you're very much
I mean, we have zero waste, and I mean zero waste. Every soap, even offcuts, are either sold by the kilo or given away to labor camps, or we reprocess them into different products that can be sold and used. We make sure all our packages are totally recyclable. But I think the issue is that sustainability, it's a word that's thrown around a huge amount, and I don't think many people really understand it.
Is sustainable considered more expensive from a retail perspective? A sustainable product?
Be.
Is it? Okay.
It shouldn't be. You know, I don't think you need to be more expensive to be sustainable.
Just like organic, you know?
Yeah. Organic is more expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm asking. It's sustainable.
Sustainable, I mean, it does depend on your supply chain, but it's really struck home for us in that we developed this range of hair care products which very specifically are aimed at trying to solve the problem of plastics in the bathroom. And we realized very early on that marketing sustainability and marketing environmentally friendly brought zero customers, because most people that we speak to have no idea that there's a problem.
This is what we are mentioning. We need education about this, obviously.
Yeah, so I think there's an enormous amount of education. It needs to be hand in hand with government. And actually places like Dubai Chamber are really trying to address that. We try and address it through our platforms, via blogs, via our social media. But it's a long process.
I assume after COP, end of this year, they're going to be announcing new rules. I have a feeling.
I hope so.
There will be a lot upcoming. Tell us about your products. I mean, your products are natural products from Morocco, and I love the stuff, just like the ones from Jordan.
So yeah, I think, sustainability is a very big word, and I think it's not one part or the other, it's like the full supply chain. So IZIL anyhow was built based on, it's a value.
What does
For me,
IZIL mean?
IZIL means pure.
Pure.
Means pure in Amazigh language, which is,
okay.
so it is a value that we live with since the inception. So we don't, it's not a trendy thing that we are waving into actually, and Camel Soap, the same thing. It is part of the DNA of the brand and why it was created from the beginning. Now, when it comes to cosmetics in specific, you have so many things that get involved into the sustainability. So from the ingredient that you're using, whether they are sustainable or not. So for example, there is a lot of things about palm oil, about other ingredients, silicones, sulfates. Those are kind of ingredients which are not sustainable, be it for the person or be it for the environment, for the trees or for the water or whatever. So we don't use any of this. So it starts with the ingredients first of what you're doing. Then comes the second part is the shipping method as well. So what kind of shipping you're using, how much you're consolidating your different shipments in a way to have more sustainable shipping routes, and not using so many high consuming shipping methods. Then comes, of course, the manufacturing, which is as well whether it's sustainable or not. And here we're talking about the different ingredients as well which are used in the manufacturing, different machineries that you are using, the environment within the waste management of the yield management of the factory. So all of this is part of the sustainability. And I think whether by choice or not, for small companies like us or builds like self-built brands, you're not going to be able to afford so much waste. You to put so much effort as well as to maximize the input, right? And automatically it goes within the sustainability. Yeah, so the main thing is not to lose this value as we're growing, and this is the key thing. And then comes the packaging. So the packaging, whether you're going for more glass, what kind of plastic you're using. Even the plastic has so many variants, whether it's recyclable, the paper, the labels, whatever, even the prints, it's going to go so...
So it's technically changing a whole strategy of a business altogether, right?
Yes.
Reformatting.
And it's costlier.
It is costly,
It's costlier. In some elements, it is costlier because today, to get, preservatives which are chemical or, it's much cheaper. Even the fragrance. You can get the fragrance which is 1/10 of the cost when you're going through the natural fragrance. And even between one supplier and the other, how is he getting that kind of ingredient? Is it from a sustainable way of doing it or not? The women who are working in, especially when we're talking about rare ingredients such as argan oil or prickly pear, there is a lot of women behind, like cooperatives, who do this kind of job. So either you're going through the cooperatives and building a sustainable business with them, for their families or not. Then there is this part of giving back, that's the other part.
It sounds like a headache.
It is a big thing. It is a big thing, and I think the main thing to keep in mind is to not fail of adopting or to not adopt the sustainability just because it's trendy, because that would be, on its own. I think it's very important to believe in that as a human being, as a company, as employers, as employees, rather than just going with the trend. And unfortunately, in this kind of trends, you have both sides that come in.
Speaking of competition, okay, I think you like this subject because you told me to tap into it eventually. How do smaller brands, or maybe even local companies like us, do stand now against competition? You know, there are a lot of companies with regards to the political situation taking place. Everyone is running to Dubai and everyone's opening businesses here with people that speak the language and doesn't speak the language. So there's a lot of competition taking place. What kind of tactics, actually, let's talk about tactics that you utilize to stand against your competition?
I think even before the tactics, it's the customer understanding. The reason a lot of homegrown brands are becoming successful is because of the customer understanding.
Yes.
You know, IZIL knows who it's talking to, Camel Soap Factory, Zahra. The audience is clear for each. Every small brand starts with the right niche, talks to the right audience. Happened in our case as well when we started talking to people who love doing family shopping from co-ops. And that's the core audience, and this is how you talk to them, and these are the features or services that you offer to them to make. So when you talk to that customer segment in the right language, automatically that sets the brand in a different
But how can
position.
you target 200 nationalities that speak so many different languages? Now we have the Russians that are taking over. You have a lot of other nationalities coming in.
You can't talk to everybody. I think it's unless you, as a small brand, you can't talk to everybody. If you try to do that, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Okay.
I think picking the right segment, you can migrate and emerge, you know, segment after segment. And unfortunately, that's what some people rush to. It's like, okay, I need to have everything for everybody. But then what does the brand stand for? What do you as a company stand for? You can't do all of these things. We all are operating with limited resources. So you see, okay, you know what, I need to target this segment with this messaging, with this proposition. And that's when it starts connecting to the audience,
Yes.
you know.
And what about you, Zahra?
I don't know if I've ever really talked
Zahra
about
is chilled today.
I don't look at, I don't know. I don't look at
How do you
competition.
stand against your competition? Do you have a competition or you don't even think about it?
I'm sure I have competition.
But you don't think about it,
I don't think
right?
about them. I'm too small to think
You
about
don't even
them.
research that who might be doing something different? Maybe you might do the
Look,
same?
I've built everything I've done so far, knock on wood, on doing my thing and doing my journey. I know my audience exists through my platform. I interact with so many mothers and mothers, fathers, children. I get to interact with my audience directly, and this is something that as a blogger I get access to, where as a brand I wouldn't. As Zahra's Kitchen, I don't access them as easily as I would as a blogger. And so I created a brand that served me and served people that I knew had the same value systems that I did. In the end of the day, I wanted food that was no additives, no preservatives, that was made with wholesome, real ingredients, and I wanted things that tasted good. Like, I've gone out and I've picked up from the supermarket the ready kibbes. I've picked up the ready musakhan rolls. And I can tell you, hands down, I'm very biased. Mine's the best in the market, but I'm biased. And what makes
But do you think because you've branded yourself very well also, let's be very honest, so your branding played a role to bring you there, out there to the people, and they know of Zahra's Kitchen, everyone knows about it, right?
Maybe. It's a very valid point. But
And I'm not saying
it needs,
your
but
stuff
they
are
need
not
to,
yummy, but I'm sure.
No, but I can only interest them for the first purchase. But I need them to come back. If my product isn't good, they're not going to come back.
100%, yeah.
My sale is only, I'm only good when they come back and become repetitive customers. And it's a very exciting moment when I'm at my dentist's office and I've got my Spanish dentist telling me, by the way, my husband's been buying your falafels, as part of the weekly buy from Spinneys for the last few months. And only the other day when I asked him, what's that brand you buy, that I realized it's yours. So that's for me a big.
It's more than enough. Good. And what about you? How did you, again, going back to beauty products and skincare products, we have a vast competition, okay? And it's very hard to keep up. I mean, with food, it's okay. With shopping online, it's fine. But how do you really stand out? Of course, your product and your brand also is very different from anyone else. But what do you do to keep going and, going against any competition that you have around? And I'm going to talk about expansions in a bit now as to...
Well, I think Nader put his finger on it. You've got to really understand your niche, and you need to know who you're selling to. So we were very clear right from the beginning what market we were selling to, who we were selling to, and what we were selling. So we were more selling an experience of Dubai, especially in the early days. And we wanted people to experience that joy through our products. There's not many products that would compete with us. Our problem actually has ironically been things like counterfeit and fake. So we have suffered badly in the past from counterfeit products, which has been way worse for us than competition, but also quite good because they always, as they say, when you get copied,
But don't you think that your target today is changing?
It very much so,
It is, right?
and we
So
need.
how do you keep with that?
And sometimes we get it wrong. If I'm absolutely honest, I think we've developed products and then targeted them and realized that we've got it absolutely wrong, and have had to change course very quickly when we realized that really the only way you can do that is data. You've got to know who you're selling to and what they're buying.
What about you, Mouna?
I think same what they all said. So definitely understanding who you're talking to, why they like you, why they buy your product, what they need. Be very close to the consumers. I think that was one of our strengths as well, either be it on social, be it on WhatsApp. So really be closer to...
But you have a place, an existing infrastructure, like,
Yes.
An outlet. And you're in a place where it attracts a lot of tourists. So the education is always needed because you have different people coming in all the time. So how do you actually refrain from your competition in the biggest mall in the world? Yani, there's so many things happening there.
That's another story because luckily for us, we drive the traffic to our store. So we don't rely, and I always said it, and it's thanks that you brought this up. Some people think that once they will open in one of the biggest malls in the world, like consumers will come to their stores. That's not the case at all. And because we've tried, we've done the mistake and we opened 7 kiosks and we said, okay, this mall is big everywhere, and it didn't because the brand was not built yet. So the core of it is your brand. If your brand is built, you can have one store and then everyone will come to you. And then later on, you can expand. And that's what we've done in Dubai Mall. So people, when they come to us, it's actually they come straight to IZIL. They are searching for IZIL. Yes, we get 20% more sales from the traffic around, but actually it's from the consumers. Now, the other thing that we've done is that every time we do something, we do it differently. So even when we had a small kiosk, we had always kept the experience of the consumer as key. So we always wanted that once the consumer step into a small space of IZIL, he's getting transported to Morocco somehow. So even with the kiosk, we had like a trial area with copper, very Moroccan way. Now the store has been built with that in mind. So when you go in the store, you really feel that you're in Morocco. More now that we have the spa as well, that we extended to. So that experience is very unique. You cannot have it with another brand. So I always say it. I think the best way of competing is competing with yourself. And I do believe in that because we've never looked up to what others are doing because we don't have such competition as like Moroccan brand international. So it's about you, just expressing what you are.
It's all about the person who runs the business for sure. We're going to tap into the last one, and then I'm going to ask anyone who wants to, dedicate a question to you. Expansion, all right? We're seeing everyone running to Saudi now, all right? And Dubai is like the best, I would call it the best city in the Gulf because it attracts the tourism, it links the East and the West together, etc. Would you ever look into expanding to Saudi? This is the first question. And do you see it as an add-on market, or has it been always the case, but it's just open?
In our case, we were looking at Saudi before the acquisition, but obviously after the acquisition, a few strategies or things changed. So we're pretty much focused on scaling up the UAE, fine-tuning the playbook, and then going into other markets, be it Saudi or other markets there. Within the UAE, again, there's a lot happening, so it's more about innovating the business model. In any market you'll enter today in our sector, it's very competitive. So, making it in a hyper-competitive market in UAE, scaling it here with innovative business models, doing dark stores but in a different way, the deliveries, the operation, the sustainability angles. We believe perfecting that in the UAE will then allow us to expand in other markets where the expansion becomes smoother to roll out.
But don't you think the Saudis are making it also a must or maybe a harder for anyone who wants to operate in KSA to actually have their main offices based out of there? To become the regional hub for...
I think that strategy is definitely there, but it's become easier to launch in Saudi than before.
Okay.
I think if we go like 10 years ago, to get launched into Saudi was a nightmare. It would take a year, cost so much money, you have to find the right sponsor and person and all of that. Now it's much easier. So I think, yes, there is a move maybe for larger companies to move head offices and so on, or have a second head office or a primary head office in Saudi, and building the right infrastructure to do that, because it is, from a population point of view, the larger market.
Of course.
But at the same time, for the smaller companies, it's very important to start there, so you have a foothold.
Okay. Any plans of expansion in the pipeline?
Absolutely, but not in the near future. We're a small company. We're just kind of getting our feet wet, understanding the system. I think for us, it's really important to make sure we have our processes in place to understand how we are going to have a very seamless process from when the order comes in to understanding. So we're in our learning stage. And then once we're confident, the ultimate goal is to be an international brand.
Inshallah. Best of luck. And Stevie?
Yeah, Saudi is a very interesting market for us, but we've learned a lot over the last few years. And I think one of the things that we've learned is that what works here might not work there. And we've realized through working with partners that we might need to tailor the brand to fit the market, and that's okay. So we're really looking at the same product inside, but packaged really differently, because partners there know what appeals to that market.
Yeah. And yourself, Mouna? Because I still believe that it works both ways in Saudi. It works from a retail offline aspect and an online aspect.
Yeah, actually, Saudi for us is already about like 30% of our business, just from the e-commerce. Okay. We don't have an offline yet store, but definitely that's the priority. Especially now that we are having the spa. So we have a lot of customers from Saudi who come here, they experience the spa that you cannot buy online. So yeah, definitely it's in the agenda.
Yeah, the Saudis are still coming here because it's also a bit expensive over there with like the 15% tax. They still come here, but I'm sure a lot of companies are opening up. We still have 5 more minutes because we started early, right? We don't anymore? Okay, then. Wow, okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nader. Thanks, Zahra. Thanks, Stevie. And thanks, Mouna. Very informative information. And thank you for ICS.
Thank you, Zeina.